Good morning. It's October 11th, 2024. We're critiquing the news. The article on your screen is from the Cairns Post and it's titled, "It's Not Bullying, It's Just a Demanding Job." And the woman pictured here is Cynthia Louis, the sitting member for Cook for the Labor Party. And full disclosure, I am One Nation's candidate for Cook. I'm running against Cynthia Louis in the election to be held later this month on October 26th. To quote from the article, a far north Queensland Labor MP accused of bullying her staffers and treating them erratically and menacingly has dismissed the allegations as a byproduct of a very demanding workplace. Well, I actually come from a very demanding workplace myself. I was a career firefighter. I was for many years a station officer. A station officer is in charge of a crew for the entire duration of his shift, but sometimes there'll be a larger event. And if the station officer is the first attending officer, the station officer then becomes in charge of a much larger group. Now, the events that I attended as a station officer were things like large landscape fires, building fires, or multi-vehicle car crashes. These are very demanding and stressful work environments. There's a direct threat to persons and property. There is a great deal to think about, and I was able to manage to do that without bullying anyone. In fact, additional crews would arrive at jobs and they would get on the crew radio and they would say, "Thank goodness Pete's in charge." And they would say that because they knew the job would go smoothly, that the incident commander, yours truly, would be sane and rational and kind to people to assist them to achieve the objectives of the organisation without any form of personal attack or harassment or abuse or twisting events to make a person feel bad, that sort of thing. That said, there are organisations I have worked for that have engaged psychopaths at the highest level, and this is actually quite common. If you study psychopathy, as I did for a while, you will find that psychopaths are attracted to positions of power, and that if you get enough psychopaths in charge of an organisation, it develops a very toxic culture, which is what Miss Louis is being accused of here. To quote further from the article, Cook MP Cynthia Louis is alleged to have cycled through at least 8 staff in the past 6 years amid a toxic workplace culture, with at least one former employee signing a non-disclosure agreement. And the article goes on further into the detail of that, which I'm not particularly interested in discussing here. But what I will say is that the leaders in organisations that I've been involved with that have displayed the toxic tendency of bullying were not effective leaders. They couldn't get the job done. So, I can't quote specific examples here, but to draw the parallel to the fire brigade, it would be crews turning up and say, "Oh no, that guy's in charge." Yeah. Now, when it comes to electing a representative for a region, that person is not your leader, that person is your representative. However, if that person has psychopathic tendencies, such as bullying, then that person is not going to be representing your will in Parliament. They're going to be representing themselves, their opinions, their agendas. That's the risk. This may well be why Cook has gone backwards over the 7 years that Cynthia Louis is there. It's definitely a time for change. And as I keep warning, swapping from the ALP to the LNP is not going to advance the seat of Cook. Only a minor party, what we call now a minor party, can achieve the objectives of the people of Cook, the things that I've heard stated that they would like to see implemented in their region, which again is 86.54% the size of Victoria. And there's only one minor party that's running in all 93 seats in Queensland, and that has the potential to take government in its own right. And that's One Nation, and that is why I am representing One Nation in this election. I do like the Catters, but unfortunately they're only representing 12 or 13, only fielding 12 or 13 candidates. And even if all of them were elected, that's not necessarily going to give them the balance of power, depending on how big the swing against this utterly incompetent socialist Labor government is. I recommend a vote for One Nation, not just because I'm a candidate for One Nation, but because One Nation's values align with the values that made this country the strong and great country that it was as recently as the 1990s. It's been the Labor and Liberal Uni Party undermining our culture that has led to the decline, led to the cost of living increases, the skyrocketing inflation, the power prices through the roof, the fuel at $2 a litre on average. None of that needs to happen. It's all been the consequence of the Labor and Liberal Party implementing the agenda of unelected foreign globalists who meet in plain sight in their organisations such as the United Nations, the North Atlantic Treaty Organisation and the World Economic Forum. Get them out of our parliaments.